Today's daily word, Sunday, February 16th, 2020, is grace. When a burden begins to feel lighter, when a happy moment becomes truly joyous, when the way through a frustrating challenge suddenly becomes clear, I know I'm experiencing grace. Unity minister and author Eric Butterworth explains grace this way. God's desire to express completely through you and as you is so great that you never completely reap the harvest of error, and you always reap more good than you sow. This is grace. Grace is God's gift, constantly available to everyone willing to receive it. I look to God alone as the source of my good. I discover the guiding, healing, sparing presence of God everywhere I go, in everything I do, and in everyone I meet. From his fullness we have all received grace upon grace. John 1:16. The minute I saw the word grace, the first image that came to my mind was the old man in the movie Up. Remember that, where his whole house is just lifted? And I thought, that's got to be grace right there, when that house is just lifted. But then I thought, my own heart experiences grace when I look upon my granddaughters as they smile and interact with their friends right before they start their martial arts maneuvers, and how graceful they do them. The grace with which they move exemplifies their joy. It lifts my spirit and allows me to soar along with them. Grace is demonstrated also when I finally pay off that last loan and feel the weight lifted as I meet my personal responsibilities. So grace manifests itself in so many ways, and probably as many people as there are here, that's how many people it manifests itself. That's my version of grace. The children will be downstairs already, so we don't have to worry about sending them. And I want to make sure that you understand that the children having their bag sale, but I'm going to do that in the announcements. And there's a reminder for all parents, please, who have brought children. Remember that you're responsible for them once the church service is over, and that means walking them through the lines of the various goodies, because, you know, as children, sometimes our eyes are bigger than our stomachs. And I know I do that even if it's not sweets. So, you know, just kind of guide them along so that they get an understanding that it's not just fill your plate with goodies. And now we'll take a moment to greet one another, and we will do this by greeting each other with a namaste and our indifference to time, to the sensitivity of people. You do not walk around and try not to hug others. Greet folks with a handshake, and be sure to take time after the service to greet others downstairs. Now please join me in our statement of being. It should be on the screen. God is all, both visible and invisible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. I am an individualized expression of God. I am ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. I get to shrink again.
All right. And one by our friend Daniel Namewad. God, you are every mountain. Come on, sing. God, you are every ocean. God, you are every canyon, every inch of earth and sky. God, you are every morning. God, you are every midnight. God, you are every moment, every second of my life. Everything I see, everything I do, Everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I do is you. God, you are every sunrise. God, you are every moon glow. God, you are every star shine, every inch of earth and sky. God, you are every springtime. God, you are every snowfall. God, you are every season, every second of my life. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you. God, you are.
Thank you, Mark. That was beautiful. That feels so good. And now it is time for our announcements. Please be sure to pick up Lent books in the rear of the church. 10 a.m. discussion group meets in the green room every Sunday where we discuss the previous week's lesson. Please, please remember the parking and the falling ice can be pretty dangerous. Easy giving cards. Green laminated cards in the basket on the back table. For those who have given electronically and would like to put something in the love offering basket. So when it's passed around and you see these are the people that have been giving electronically. I give electronically, and it's just such a relief. It's kind of like a feeling of grace. I don't have to think about it. It just comes out of my checking on a regular basis. And whether I'm here or not, I know that I've contributed to the community and to the place where I call my home. So just know that these are available to everyone, and then we just leave them. February Town Hall meeting today at 12:30. Get ready for a food feast. The YFM meeting is today after service. YFM bake sale. Again, more food because we are an eating community. YFM's Never Too Late for Love Valentine's Day bake sale and fundraiser is today. Please contribute because the children really use this money, and it's just the biggest help that they could have. Unity, Saturday, February 22nd at 2 p.m. In addition to tea and delicious food, there's that word again, food, right? It's like we just seem to be coming back to that every time. There will be an interactive Jeopardy game. The cost is $15 per person. Sign-up sheet is at the bookstore. RSVP early. Since space is limited, contact Sheila O'Connell for more information. And I haven't had the opportunity to attend one, but I hear they're a blast. Please, please remember to recycle the bulletin covers by leaving them in the back or in your seat, and someone will come along and collect them. And now it is time to welcome our guests. Yes. Yes, please, Lucy, go right ahead. But you can't have my stool, though.
The Interfaith Dinner Dialogues are this Thursday, and there are 2 places, one in Fayetteville and one in Manlius. If someone wanted to attend, you can contact me. I'll be around after church. We actually have 16 people signed up that will be attending Unity. So it's a wonderful event where you get to share your faith and listen to other people's stories about their faiths and have a meal together. So it starts at 6. It's on Thursdays, and if you'd like to attend a dinner and haven't done so yet, there's still time for 1 or 2 people.
Thank you, Lucy. I've attended those also, and they're really, you won't regret it. The conversations that go on and the insights that you gain is from all the different faiths that come together is just an amazing experience, so I recommend it highly. Any additional announcements, you will find them in the back of your bulletin. If I've missed any, excuse me, but there's more there. And please read them, because sometimes I know I just assume things and then I forget, and so this kind of gives me a little reminder, and I even put it on my refrigerator at home just so that I can remember what's going on. And now I'd like to welcome any guests. We have a packet with a gift of a candle representing the light of Spirit shining within you. Attached to your welcome packet is a yellow slip. Please fill it out so we can get to know you and take it downstairs to the bookstore for an additional gift. Is there anyone here for the very first time? Anyone here who hasn't been here in a while? Come on, Carol, you can raise your hand. It's safe. Okay. Carol made the clam chowder, by the way. So make sure that it's really good. We invite all of you to stay after the service and join us for fellowship and refreshments downstairs. Now we move to our 5 basic principles. On the screen, you can see our 5 basic unity principles. These are the basic tenets of unity. Are there 2 of you who have seen one of them demonstrated in your life last week? Please keep your shares to 1 or 2 minutes. Patsy! I always love hearing from you, Patsy, so I'm glad you get to share with us today.
Thank you. Am I on? Okay. I had 2 things this past week that really gave me pause. So I want to talk about Principle 3 and Principle 5 here. The 2 things were my brand new little kitty Flower went missing early in the week. And the second thing is my checking account practically went missing because a house that was supposed to close on December 31st hadn't closed yet. So what I said to myself, knowing that I create my life experience by what I say, is what am I supposed to learn here? What is the lesson of these 2 things that I'm supposed to learn? And the first word that popped out at me was trust. So I said, okay, I have to trust. I have to trust that all is going to be well in both areas. So I'm very happy to report, thrilled to report, grateful to report that the house closed on Friday, and my daughter and her fiancé came on Saturday, and together they found my kitty, who is well and happy. So
all right.
If we live these principles, they don't always work out the way we want them to. In my case, they did. And I am deeply grateful for thinking of trust and for living these principles. So that's my story.
Thank you, Patsy. Thank you so much. Anyone else? Okay, I have one. So yesterday, in the midst of cooking for 4 or 5 hours, I get a notice from Chase Bank asking me if I purchased almost $400 worth of something or other in Canada. Okay. I'm like, before that, actually, I got a notice that somehow my money was a little bit low, and they wanted me to know that. And I thought, okay, so I'll take from my savings and kick it into my savings, and not thinking anything of it other than, okay, thank you for the notice. And then I get the notification from Chase. Then I get another notification from Chase about $37. And then I get another notice from Chase about $27. And about 4 or 5 notices later, I was asked to call, and my friend encouraged me to call and find out what's going on, because I'm not in Canada. I haven't left the house the whole day. So I called, and sure enough, somebody had been using my card and had been charging all these things to my card, and that's why my balance was so low, and I never even noticed, etc. But the thing that I learned was I didn't panic. I've learned through living these principles not to panic, to kind of let it go and leave it in God's hands, that it will work out, that all I have to do is believe it. All I have to do is think it's going to be fine, and it will, because I didn't lose any money. Chase is going to put all that money back on Monday when I go give them. The only inconvenience that it's now caused me is that I now have to call everybody that automatically takes out the money from my account and give them a new number. But 2 years ago, I would have panicked. I would have been in a state where I probably would have been in tears because I'm so bad at balancing my checkbook. But this year, at this point, I was able to say, okay, it is what it is, and it'll get taken care of, and all's well with the world. So I have learned to live the principles and be better for it. So Thank you. And now it is the prayer portion of the service. Will the prayer chaplain serving today please stand? Okay, one. Okay. Every Sunday from 10:45 to 10:55, prayer chaplains are available to pray with you, and again after service. I was a prayer chaplain the first year that we were prayer chaplains. It is an experience that just moves your heart and your soul, and one that you never, ever forget and you grow from. So I recommend again that after you eat the food that's good, you go to the prayer chaplains and maybe say thank you for that. At this time, we bless all prayer intentions or requests. Please bring the prayer box forward. Unity was founded on prayer. As silent unity, prayer has been continuous for nearly 130 years. If you have not yet placed your written prayer intention in our prayer box, you can do so at the end of the service, or you can pray silently with us during this time. Prayer intentions are held in prayer, in confidence, here for 30 days. We don't look at them. And then we mail them to Silent Unity, where they hold them in prayer for an additional 30 days. So this could be a continuous thing forever. Just put them in the prayer box, and it'll just keep going, which is how it should be. And now our prayer chaplain will pray.
Okay, if you will join me and perhaps close your eyes and take in a nice gentle breath. Whether or not you've placed a written prayer request in this prayer box or you're holding one in your hearts, we know that divine grace is in place, that divine love and wisdom and order are in charge. We simply trust and we know that all is well. Amen.
Additional prayer for a friend of Sally's. Sally's not here today, who passed away recently, and we'd like you to keep her in your hearts, just because that's what we do. So thank you. And her name was Tammy.
Who made the mountain? Who made the tree? Who made the river that flows from the sea? And who hung the moon in the starry sky? Somebody bigger than you and I. Who makes the flowers bloom in the spring? Who writes the song for the robin to sing? And who sends the rain when the earth is dry? Somebody bigger than you and I. He lights the way when the road is long, keeps you company. With love to guide you, he walks beside you, just like he walks with me. When I am weary, filled with despair, who gives me the courage to go on from there? And who gives me faith that will never die? Somebody bigger than you and I. How's everybody? All right, am I on? Awesome, great. God, give me strength. How many times have you said that? Parents, probably more than anybody else in the room, right? God, give me strength. Oh, this isn't going to go on. So I'm talking about infinite possibility. And I'm sorry, our clock isn't working in back, so I'm going to be using my phone so I don't go on too long. And I'm talking about infinite possibilities, and this can go on infinitely, or it can go off in infinite directions. So I'm going to try to keep it a little comprised here. So God, give me strength. We say that a lot. This month's power is strength. So when you're asking that, God, give me strength, you're saying, give me some answers. I need some help. And sometimes we don't feel that we're worthy of that help. But I want you to know you are always worthy of God's love and guidance. So hang in there, because with God, all is possible. So as a church, I want to talk a little bit as your chair of our search committee for our minister. So we're experiencing some change in our direction. So anybody here freely want to admit that they have a fear of change? They don't like change. It really bothers them when things change. Okay, good for you. Good. There are people that it's just you move. Somebody once referred to that as that you feel like you're dangling by a string above the floor and your feet aren't able to be firmly planted on the ground. You feel that uneasiness. So thank you for being brave to admit that. And we're also carrying on a feeling of separation from someone that we loved, we trusted, who supported us in our faith. And we need to move on from that. So change can be devastating. There's definitely things that happen in lives and things that can be devastating change. But it can also be a positive agent. So when change occurs, it's the opportunity to look at things differently, from a different perspective and angle. Some people call that a paradigm shift, and that was a very popular word during the last decade, and it used to drive me crazy. But it's appropriate. It's a fundamental change in the approach or underlying assumptions. So we're experiencing this opportunity right now. And thank you for the ministerial survey that you've just done, but we are beginning to look and examine our underlying assumptions of who we are. And Patsy, you talked last week about the wonderful family we are. We are this church. We, everyone sitting here, the members, we are this church. We own and operate this church. This church is ours. And we have the ability, and we have the capability, and we have the responsibility of carrying this church forward. So, sometimes you need to go, what you need to go and what you need to know to go from confused, frustrated, and overwhelmed to clear, content, and capable is a change in your perspective. So it's easy for us to talk about change of perspective. That's easy to do than to actually achieve. But it's easier to find a reason for not doing something than to justify doing it. Y'all been there? Easy to talk yourself out of doing something, very easy. We do it all the time. You're your own worst enemy, as I like to say to people when they're talking. So I thank you, and the committee thanks you for the wonderful response. We got a great response in the survey that we put out to you all. Hopefully you've all taken it. If not, please see me or a member. But we got a great response for a survey. And the team is synthesizing all of this information, and we wrote it out, and we put it all together. I want you to note, too, that we're also sharing our journey, and the search committee is always also sharing this journey with Reverend Pat Bessie, who is our interim minister. And because she's an interim minister, she's going to be able to help us and guide us in where we're going and what we're looking for and what we need. So she's working with the search committee as well as the board of directors in this process. So I unfortunately can't be there this afternoon at our town meeting, but so I can let you know a little bit of what's going on, that in that process she's given us and the board of directors some recommendations, and that is for us to wait to submit our packet of information, which is basically our job description and our job announcement, along with all the fiduciary responsibilities we have for bringing a minister to us, because we need to pay that person and we need to give them benefits and package. So the board is working on that aspect of this, and the search committee is working on the job announcement portion of that. And Reverend Bessie has recommended that we wait until the board of directors changes at our annual meeting in the end of March. Am I correct? Right? End of March? So we have taken that under consideration, and we are beginning to move in that direction. So it's not really, it's only like a delay of maybe about a month or two from the direction we had initially started to take. But we're so thankful to have Reverend Bessie guiding us and giving us direction. So we're talking about our infinite possibilities and what can be achieved and what is achievable. So too many times we limit ourselves and our abilities by our own negative thoughts. So I was trying to think of a relatable Bible story, and what came up was David and Goliath. So David, of course, was a shepherd, and his brothers were at war with the Philistines. And they were a giant people. They were a large people, and the army was afraid of the Philistines. And this poor little shepherd boy goes and says, I want to fight. I can fight this man, Goliath. And everybody around him's like, no, you're this little guy. You can't do this. It's not possible. It's just this is this huge army. This man is huge. He's going to pound you. He's just going to devastate you. But David knew that with God, all is possible. God was with him all the time. God was with him, what his brothers didn't see, in that field shepherding. Because what does a shepherd do? You take your animals around to be able to graze and find them areas to graze, but you're also protecting them. And David protected them from the wolves and the lions that came to eat those sheep. So David knew that he could fight and he was strong. And all he had was a little slingshot, because they wanted to bestow upon him a sword and armor so that he would be protected when he fought this giant man. But David knew, this is too heavy and this will weigh me down. All I need is this tiny little slingshot and the right pebble that he went to the river to find. So David used his knowledge, not his strength and power, to overcome that giant. And he knew exactly, using his mind, where the weakness was in that giant and to hit him. Because what was happening before was everybody was going under the assumptions of war. You need strength to conquer your enemy. And David realized, no, I don't need strength. I need smart and God's protection. And with knowledge, David was able to slay that giant, and with knowledge, we are able to go forward as a congregation and make this a stronger church. for us. Joshua 1:9 says, "Have I not commanded you, be strong and courageous, do not be frightened, and do not be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go." So what's your first impression, what's your first thought when you think of Helen Keller? Blind? Pardon me? An overcomer, okay. Helen Keller, author, political activist, lecturer, well-traveled, outspoken, socialist, suffragette, first blind person to receive a bachelor's degree and honored multiple times before and after her death. But the first thing we think of is this blind, mute, deaf person. How did she overcome all of those disabilities that she had? But she said once she found out that wet thing that was hitting her hand and that spelling in her hand were the same thing, and that was the name for that water, a light came on in her mind that said, the world is infinite and I have all the possibilities in the world, because now I can understand the world, because she now had knowledge. So we're not here to live in the past and wallow in our limitations. We are here to live for today, because you are not tied to the past, and you can choose a different belief at any moment. So right up there, number 3 is we create our life experiences through our way of thinking. Unity principle number 3. I can choose to either concentrate on what I eat today, or I can worry about that whole pie that I ate yesterday. By the way, there's some whole pies downstairs for sale, I see. But let me worry about today and what I need to do, instead of, okay, yesterday I did that. Helen Keller wrote a great quote, "When one door closes, another opens. But we often are looking so regretfully upon the closed door that we don't see the one that has opened up for us." I love that. That is so great. So we need to concentrate on the possibilities. How many people should on themselves? Should on yourself. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. I could have done this. I would have done that, but I didn't have the money. I could have done that, but I didn't have the education. I should have done that, but I didn't. Our wonderful David Roth sat here one time and sang, there's a wonderful song, "Come on, I won't shit on you if you don't shit on me." So Helen Keller was surrounded by obstacles, yet she strove to overcome them and not limit her possibilities. So, I was going to be a Broadway star, or at least be in the pit of his Broadway or something like that. I've learned through knowledge now that, man, that's a lot of work, and it's a heavy job to do. But I don't limit myself and say that still couldn't happen for me. I'm a mailroom clerk that was determined to work and work hard, and I'm now a CEO. That mailroom clerk would have never believed at that time that he would be a CEO. So I can still be discovered, and I can still dream, and I can still see possibilities. So be careful of what you say to yourself, that we put ourselves, again, we're our own worst enemy, to put ourselves at coulda, woulda, shoulda. Don't should on yourself, or I can't. Make I can more a part of your strategy of what you can say. So be mindful of your self-talk, because it's a conversation with the universe. and you are a being full of infinite possibilities, and focus your mind with positivity, and you will have dictated the direction of your journey, your soul and your being, cascading in infinite abundance. And that wasn't my great words, that was Angie Karan. So I'm also very mindful of what do I say for stuff, because be careful what you wish for, too. I'm always wishing, I would like to lose some weight in a healthy way. Because I just lost some weight because I had the flu. And that was not the way I wanted to accomplish that goal. Philippians 4:13 states, I can do all things through him who strengthens me. So here at Unity, we use affirmations and visualizations and meditation to bring together the picture of your life and your wants and your possibilities. How many people try to practice meditation every day? Or when you're saying, God, give me strength, do you step back and say, okay, please, God, give me strength, and meditate on that and see what direction you need to go to take whatever that situation is that you're in and take it to the next step and rectify the situation. So in a little while, I'm going to ask you to do a meditation with me. And I want you to, the focus of that meditation to be, what can we bring to this wonderful, wonderful church and home and family to guide us in the next steps of where we, as a body of faith, are going to go, and where is that person out there? Anywhere in this world, there's that possibility. The board is working on some great ideas on bringing this person to us, and the search committee is working on the best possible description of this ministry and seeking out the best person that we can bring to fit our needs, not what you need, our needs as a congregation. I can tell you very, very much that in the survey, it was very prominent that we're looking for families to build this ministry, because we want to be a family church. We are family, but we want actual families, mom, dad, and the 3 kids, or whatever there are. That's one of the major desires that we're looking for as a congregation. So when you've heard those expressions, reach for the stars, we can reach for the stars, and we can bring in the most wonderful person in the world to fulfill our needs here at Unity of Syracuse. There'll be some hard work ahead, because not all things come. When you reach for infinite possibilities, there's some work involved. And as a family, we need to do that work. As a family, we still need to continue to make this church work. The wonderful speakers that come every week, thank you. That has been pointed out as one of our greatest strengths, that we have a wonderful, wonderful group of speakers that are able to come in up here and bring you messages of faith and possibilities every week. So, Leland, I think, did a slide for me before we go into our meditation. Going to go to our affirmation, with God, all is possible. So together, with God, all is possible. And to yourself, because every week and every day, you need to remind yourself of that. And I love that years ago I was gifted with, and I think you were gifted with one too, Pets, but different. I have this checkbook cover, and I love it, and it's well worn, and I need to get one to replace it. But I love it because it reminds me, especially when I'm writing out my checks, because I thank God for the possibility of the abundant blessing that I have to pay my bills. So I have this cover, with God, all is possible. So again, to yourself, put your hand over your heart. Thank you, God. With God, all is possible. So we're going to go into some meditation. And I want you to look at what you can put out into the world and what you can bring to our new minister, what you can bring to our new minister, and what your vision of that new minister is. And I'm going to go to the piano, Mike. So you want to close your eyes. So I want you to think, what is this person you're looking for to come to us? And we send out our love for that. Because love always gathers love. I send my love over the mountain. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and love returns to me. Like I said, love attracts love. And we are looking over the mountains and over the sea and into the heavens for what comes to us in our new ministry. So sing this with me. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and love returns to me again. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and love returns to me. I send my joy. I send my joy over the mountains. I send my joy over the sea. I send my joy into the heavens, and joy returns to me. I send my joy over the mountains. I send my joy over the sea. I just send my joy into the heavens, and joy returns to me. Back to love. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and love returns to me. Yes, we're attracting that love. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. send my love into the heavens, and love returns to me. And love returns to me. And love returns to me. All right, together. Our affirmation today: with God, all is possible. And let them hear that over the mountain, over the sea, and into the heavens. So let's shout it. With God, all is possible. Amen and namaste. It's offertory time. Somebody, I got to play. Oh, all we have to do is, okay, love offering blessing. Divine love.
Here. So let us just now rub our hands together. Feel the energy moving that was so created today with all the possibilities that are out there. And we are so grateful for the gifts that are here in this basket, knowing that that is just another sign of the possibilities that are out there. And we say, thank you, God, for this is how our church community is blessed, how we move forward, and we grow. So, again, thank you, God, for all of this, for it is so, all is well. We say, amen. And our children may be a little late coming. We'll see.
morning. So today we learned about strength, and I'll let Byron talk a little bit more about the lesson today because he put it together, and it was I think we all learned a lot.
Well, we divided strength into two different categories. One category is physical strength, and the other one was more mental and spiritual strength. And Sophia's holding up a book that we read, The Real McCoy, the story of Elijah McCoy, the African-American inventor, and the types of strength that he needed in order to overcome many obstacles in his life. So, and then some of the kids, we had time to draw something that represented strength to them. So a few of them brought up their pictures. You want to say anything about your picture, Curtis? No? Anybody else want to say anything about their picture?
So I built an action figure. Two action figures so they can be friends.
Okay, so I'll pass it back to Mr. Ken.
So I learned something about the story today too. I had no idea where the phrase "I want the real McCoy" came from, and it turns out that Elijah McCoy created a patent for an oil cup that was a part of a steam engine, and it was so good that people tried to replicate it, and no one came close to his design. So when people would say that they needed this particular part, they would say, "I want the real McCoy," because it was his part that was the best. So good stuff. I mean, we're learning about strength, and it's so important. And I think the kids are getting it that it's not just about building muscles. It's about building mental strength as well, and spiritual strength. So thanks.
So we'll bless our children. We bless our children wherever they are. And we see them surrounded by light and light throughout the week. We have a thriving, expanded youth and family ministry. And for our prayer protection, let's go to the next slide, Ed. So this has the added words from Reverend Pat Bessie's church into it. The light of God surrounds us. We are the light. The love of God enfolds us. We are the love. The power of God protects us. We are the power. The presence of God watches over us. We are the presence. Wherever God is, all is well. And our peace song.
Don't forget about the bake sale going on downstairs.